Hi, this is Alex from PHP Academy and welcome to the first part of the Chrome Developer Tools tutorial. In this part we're going to be looking at the Elements tab. So we are going to be looking through the DOM elements. We are going to be manipulating what's on the page and we're going to be looking at a few other things as well that are extremely useful to web development. So this is the part where if you're developing a page and you need to change any styles or move anything about on the page, and experiment without having to go ahead and edit your source code and then come back again. This is the part that's really fundamental to that. So I'm using this demo page here, and if you're following along with this tutorial, go ahead and load up this this URL or this page, and I'll go ahead and start to play around with things on here so you can follow along. Now, if you haven't already opened up the Chrome Developer Tools window or the sticky toolbar, you want to go ahead to Tools here and Developer Tools, and you'll see immediately that you'll be presented with the Elements tab. Now, you can also access this by right-clicking on any element on the page or anywhere on the page and clicking Inspect Element. Now at the moment I just click within the body area, so this is automatically highlighted the start of the body. For example, if I was to go ahead and right click on this Submit button and click Inspect, you'll see that we have this button here, so we've got a button element, and so on with other things as well, including text, parts of text as well. So this in this case is a paragraph. Okay, so what we can see here is basically all of the elements in the page. As we highlight them in this area here, we can see them highlighting within the window up here. Now, what's important to bear in mind is that anything we change in here, or any styles that we change over here, which we'll be doing a bit later on in this video, will appear in this main window. So we can change things as we see them. So what you see is what you get, essentially. So what we can do is we can view, delete, move things around in here. So let's go ahead and try this out to start with. You can see here that we've got this paragraph element, and this just comes before this button here. Now if I click and hold this, you can see that I can drag this. You see that line appearing above there, and I can actually release that, and that button will move above that paragraph. Now obviously this is just all being done within the browser. Obviously nothing's changing in the source of the page, that sort of goes without saying, but here is, it's extremely useful because by being able to do that, I've saved myself having to change a couple of lines of code over. So we can delete things as well. So for example, if I wanted to get rid of this button, I can just go ahead and click delete on my keyboard. We can also right click and delete nodes, copy things, edit them. We'll look at editing in slightly more detail in a moment. Okay, so let's go ahead and refresh. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on something. So for example, this A here. We can actually go ahead and add attributes. Now at the moment there aren't any classes associated with this. There are no IDs associated with this. All we have is a link and a link location here, an href. So what I can actually do is I can go ahead and I can edit certain attributes. I can even add them as well. So let's take a look at adding them first. I'm going to go ahead and just double click anywhere on this, and I'm going to go all the way to the end and hit space. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type style equals, and I'm going to go ahead and say color red. Now I have added obviously an attribute that we shouldn't use because it's inline styling, but this is just an example. And I've actually changed the color of this to red. Now you also may have noticed it's appeared here. So we can control styles for particular elements here. If we have a class of elements or an ID, for example, we can change the styling of these as well. But back again to the adding attributes, we can go ahead and edit them as well. So for example, if I wanted to edit the location of this link, I can go ahead and type in google.co.uk, for example. Now when I click on this link, it takes me to Google. So let's go back. and you'll notice that our changes have gone. And that's probably another important point. If you're modifying stuff and you click through to links and then back again, your changes unfortunately are going to be lost. It's just sort of on that page as it is. When it's rendered again, you'll lose all them changes that you've made. So now let's go ahead and take a look at changing styles again. If I go ahead and right click on this note here that we can drag around the page, you'll see that it's got a class of note, and it's also got these styles as well, but that's just because of JavaScript. So let's focus on this pane here now. If we scroll down, you can see that we've got matched CSS rules. Now what we've also got is the user agent style sheet rules, which are the default styles for elements as they appear on a page without any styles. So a div by default will be display block, but of course we can change that with CSS. So for example, this note class here contains this background color property, the height property, padding, position. We can change all these. So if we wanted to, let's just say this was our site. We might want to know how this looks double the width, for example. So the first step would be to do is, if we'd rendered the page here, we could right click inspect. We've now highlighted this note element here, or this div which has a class of note. We can scroll down and we can change the height or the width to anything we like. So let's double the width to 400. Now all I've done is double clicked here, and I can also double click here and change this property. In this case we were just changing the value. So we can now see this as a 400% width element, and that's without going back to our style sheet and changing any styles at all. So what we can also do is add new items to this as well. In actual fact, just a quick note, if you are doing this very precisely, or setting widths or heights very precisely, you can actually use the up and down arrow keys to go ahead and reduce the size and the height of these elements. Well, in fact, any numerical value you can do this with, and percentages as well. So if I was to double click here, or just click in here now, it used to be double click, you can see we can go ahead and add new elements. So for example, I might want to say color, let's say blue. Now what this will do is, when we type in here now, this is changed to blue. It actually doesn't look very blue, it still looks quite dark. So let's go ahead and change this to red. So now you can see that the color of this is red, whereas before, when we didn't have this rule, it was default. It was the user agent's default, which was black. So what we can actually do is go ahead and untick any of these. So I can untick red, and that will go back to the default that it's that's being used.